This video is a film study look at how Amon-Ra St. Brown and Jameson Williams really highlighted the Lions' 52-6 win over the Jaguars on Sunday in Week 11. Ben Johnson's offense, of course, rolled up over 600 yards of offense, 645 to be precise. Another blowout win against the Jaguars, a team they had defeated handily in 2022 later in the season. Jared Goff, another near perfect day or perfect in terms of quarterback rating, 24 of 29 passes, I believe. St. Brown and Williams combined for 15 catches on 17 targets, 285 yards receiving, 3 touchdowns, one highlight reel lateral play that I think only goes for like 11 yards. The combination of these two guys is everything that the Lions fan base has waited for. Well, in the case of Williams, that is. St. Brown's having another ridiculous season. In some ways, it's his most ridiculous and incomparable season ever so far. I thought he started slow this year, and I went back and looked at the stats. It kind of confirms it for me, even though he had 11 catches against the Bucs in Week 2. If you look at the catch percentage, efficiency, he was 14 of 24 receptions in the first 2 weeks, 0 touchdowns. If I remember correct, there was some rumors or whispers of people talking about him possibly being injured. That was games against the Rams and the Bucs. Well, all he's done now is put up 9 touchdowns, on pace for like 15 or 16, something like that. 9 touchdowns in 7 games. Also, career high catch percentage at 83%. Bonkers statistic for how much attention he gets and how other teams know that he's going to be highly targeted by Jared Goff. I think some of the things they do to design plays for St. Brown and Williams and others are really exquisite. I'll try to provide for you as much observation and intel as I can on some of those play concepts here. Williams is averaging now 25 yards per catch in his last 2 games, since he returned from the 2-game suspension, that is. On Sunday against the Jags, he goes 4 for 124 in terms of yards, 1 touchdown. The last 2 weeks since returning, 7 catches, 177 yards, 25 yards per catch. This is exactly what the Lions offense needs in terms of production from these two guys. Heavy targets, heavy usage, and reliability for St. Brown. Big strike capability from Jameson Williams. Let's get the film started here, and I think we'll show about 9 or 10 plays. This is first quarter. The Jags are actually up 3-0 after the long field goal. One of the things that Goff does well, is it coached by Ben Johnson? Is it Jared Goff? I don't know. I don't care. I just know it shows up in the game, is he understands what a lot of these second-level defenders are looking at. And in fact, sometimes the safeties, they're staring at the quarterback, and it's coached sometimes. And I think that you can use it against them. Well, Jared Goff does that. He looked, let me pause it. Real quick, he looked to this side here and then kind of came back, flashed here. And Foye Oluokun, who's a very underrated linebacker, if you ask me, one of my favorite players to watch film of. I just don't get the opportunity to watch much of it now. He kind of hedges over in this cover 2. He's inside of the hash, and St. Brown brings his route back into the open space. Am I saying that Foye Oluokun is going to be able to stop this route if he doesn't hedge over there? No, but if you were to imagine Jared Goff staring in this direction first and getting Oluokun to hedge in that direction with an outside leverage cover 2 corner and a safety over the top, yeah, the window would be a lot tighter. As it stands, because of the 4 to 1 side, meaning Montgomery motioning out to the side where they already had 3 receivers, creating 4 to 1 side, that takes Oluokun over in between the hashes. Easy completion for St. Brown, wide open, obviously, against the zone for 11 yards. We're not going to show touchdowns necessarily by other players or anything, really just focusing on these two guys. Forgive me for the film being grainy. This is now second possession. The Lions are up 7-3 after their opening possession touchdown. It's just 12 personnel on a 2nd and 10. Play action and St. Brown kind of threatening. That's against a quality corner. And the only reason I feel comfortable saying that is that's Ronald Darby. He played extremely well for the Ravens last year. We wish we had him back because of the quality of play that he provided when he was just thrust into games, whether someone got hurt or it was a surprise start. He played exceptionally well. Normally, when you get a play action to this side, meaning the offense is right, defense is left, you're going to get some type of over concept. In this case, St. Brown brings his route inside initially and then bends it back to the sideline. Really loses Ronald Darby. I have no idea how Darby is playing this year. Clearly the Jags are not a very good football team, So my suspicion is he's probably given up some catches, not playing to the level of perception that I have for him based upon last year. Now, a lot of these targets early on are going to be St. Brown. He was 11 of 11 targets in the game. To my knowledge, I think Williams was 4 of 6. The ability to run Williams across the field, yes, they're simple routes, and I still remember Steve Smith talking about Chiefs receivers, Tyreek Hill basically. All they're doing is running deep over routes. Well, he had a point at that time, and I understand people talking about simplistic route structures or route trees for a receiver, but the difference with Jameson Williams, and I think the difference back then with Tyreek Hill that maybe got missed, was how quickly they cover that ground. How quickly they can get across the field such that if you do hit them in stride, the opportunity for a big play is drastically different. Now, this is a 3rd and 1 on the second possession, second quarter for the Lions. It's actually incomplete. It's a nice job by Darby, who will go out of the game after suffering an injury on this play. A little bit of pressure, I think, here in Goff's face. It's Josh Hines-Allen. And you'll see this concept multiple times. Well, you'll see it multiple times pretty much every game. But a clear-out route from one side, and then Jameson Williams cutting underneath of it from the opposite side, really putting the defense in a lot of stress because they're clearing out players. In this case, St. Brown running a clear-out route down here. He's kind of geared it down. And then Raymond is clearing out not just the defender who was on him, I think a nickel DB, but also the free safety. If you're able to catch this football, this is possibly a home run. It's a great job by Darby. Goff's got to put the ball out in front a little bit because of the pressure, like I said, from Josh Hines-Allen. You can see Darby is running with him right now. Darby's also a Maryland guy, so I'm a little bit partial to him. But you can see the ball's out in front a little bit. But if it were a little bit more catchable, a little bit within Jameson Williams' reach, his range, Darby's pretty much right there. Nice job in coverage. This one, however, occurs after Darby's out of the game, and it's going to be another target of Jameson Williams on the same possession, mind you. And I believe this one goes for 24 yards. A drag underneath. This is after a quarterback sneak by Goff on 4th and 1. Gets the first down. These are damn near impossible to defend. Almost kind of like in a no-cover zone. So what I mean by that is if it's zone, he's almost running underneath of the coverage. In this case, it happens to be man. And the DB who's now assigned to guard him has been run into by his own player, Foye Oluokun, who is matching the running back Gibbs' depth into the boundary. So Jameson Williams just absolutely wide open. St. Brown again, kind of gearing down in his clear-out route. Safety's going to come downhill, get involved. These are extremely dangerous route concepts for a defense to deal with because if that safety gets occupied by anything, like imagine the play before that was incomplete, where Darby covered him man-to-man pretty well across the field, on that one, the safety went with Khalif Raymond. The entire left side of the field for the offense, right side for the defense, was opened up. These are simple concepts that take advantage of his speed. I think, as crazy as it sounds, I think it's underutilized. That's the problem with the Lions' offense. It's very similar to the Ravens' offense in the sense that you want multiple guys to get the football because they're all capable. But it's egalitarian. Everybody's got to get their touches some weeks, and then other weeks kind of be ignored or get less opportunities. The hook and lateral, we are now into the second quarter. This is third possession for the Lions, so it's 14-3. I mean, because they scored on every possession. The design of this, I have to point this out. So watch Brock Wright. Watch him run his route, and then in this area, he starts to settle down and begin to front this safety. They know it's zone, and St. Brown is underneath of essentially a no-cover zone. He's pushing off and then running underneath. Again, Brock Wright is going to try to seal this safety, and the lateral occurs to Jameson Williams really quick. Look at the setup, the angle that Brock Wright has. He just loses him. If he doesn't lose that guy, Jameson Williams is often running down the left sideline, and the pursuing defenders by the Jags have got to try to get there. Going to be a difficult proposition. Well-designed play. Brock Wright, unfortunately, unable to get there. I think it only goes down, I believe, as a 11-yard gain. Like I said, that was on their third possession. Focus on St. Brown here for a moment. This is a 1st and 10, same possession, still only up 14-3. You're in 11 personnel, but it's I formation. The only tight end is in the backfield at fullback. Play action, super quick release by Goff. They know where they're going with the football here. I love anything that gets the quarterback's back turned to the offense. But the quarterback, in this case Goff, has an idea or a very clear understanding of what the coverage is going to be, what it's going to look like once he turns his back, puts his foot in the ground. I mean, he's already letting go of the ball. He's already pulling the trigger on the grenade, I should say. Darby is out here back in the game over Jameson Williams. St. Brown underneath. I guess Goff is trying to throw this one a little low. Not sure where the safety is. So I'm not sure if he just didn't see him. But because of how quickly Goff gets back here, puts his foot in the ground, and throws the football, he probably doesn't really have any idea where this safety is. So from that standpoint, I think it's forgivable how low this throw is. He doesn't want to lead St. Brown into a defender that's oncoming and could possibly deliver a big hit. Same play from the end zone angle. Again, it's 11 personnel, tight end in the backfield as a fullback, split flow. So Montgomery to this side, and then Brock Wright stepped here to block the edge defender, Trayvon Walker. So split flow, fullback, tailback going in opposite directions. Clean catch. Are you surprised that St. Brown just picks it up off the ground or picks it up, near to the ground? Incredible hands, goes for 12 yards, creates another first down, like I said, on the third possession. I think that's the thing that strikes me about St. Brown catching the football. I do seem to remember one drop late last season that really surprised me. I don't remember what game it was in. You guys that are Lions fans, y'all are so diligent and aware. I'm sure someone can probably recall. It was like a little in-breaking route. It was a drop, didn't turn into an interception. I remember thinking it would only been like a 5 or 7 yard gain. I remember thinking, I've never seen that. I still haven't seen it. I don't see him drop balls at all. Not even like bobbles. It's just incredibly clean. Whatever he did, catching 202 balls per day, whether it was high school, college, or still in the NFL, it clearly works. Moved forward a little bit here. We're to the fourth possession, still second quarter, by the way. About 3 minutes left. 21-3 Lions at this point. And this is going to be a drag against man for a touchdown to St. Brown. Those guys are so good at understanding what the coverage is. I have no way of proving it. I don't know what Goff and Ben Johnson see every week. How they know what the coverage is going to be. A lot of it is predicated on how many running backs and how many tight ends are in the backfield. You get percentage breakdowns. Hey, 82% of the time against 11 personnel, they're in 2-man or they're in some version of cover 3 or whatever it might be. And so Goff has those numbers in his head. I just made those up, by the way. It's probably way more complicated than that. All I know is that Goff has such a great understanding of where to go with the football depending on the coverage. You also get another example here of him looking to the right initially. It's man up there with Devin Lloyd on outside leverage, taking the flat route by the tight end. And then the routes create space for yards after the catch. Does every offense in the NFL want to do this? Yeah, of course they do. Does every offense do this as well as Ben Johnson and the Lions group does? No. Tight end running an out route that pulls Devin Lloyd with him. Additional to that, I believe this is Jameson Williams up here on a little in breaker, holds the safety and the guy who's guarding him, and essentially it ends up splitting that portion of the field between the hash and the top of the numbers wide open because they're playing man. I would pay money for like 2 hours to just watch them determine in meeting rooms, not on practice field, what coverage teams are going to be in, what routes they can run. I believe, I don't know, I can't prove, I believe Goff does probably just as much work pre-snap as pretty much any quarterback in the league. I have no way of proving it. All I know is there's just so many situations where the ball's coming out quick, especially in 2024, but that's been his MO his whole career, particularly in Detroit. And when the ball does come out, it's located in a position to either A, protect his receiver like you saw 2 or 3 plays ago, or B, give the receiver, St. Brown, Jameson Williams, Sam Laporta, whatever, an opportunity to run after the catch with complementary routes that seem to have been designed to open up that space. Along the same lines, a little bit different. This is going to be a cover 2 by Jacksonville, a cover 2 shell initially, and then I think a cover 2 post-snap. It looks like cover two corner, half field safety, half field safety. There's just no work over here for the safety to the top side of the screen. This is Jameson Williams' touchdown, by the way, of 64 yards. There's no work over here. It's two tight ends. Only one of them releases. Watch Brock Wright's release and his path. Now, you don't see him, but off screen right here is the safety to the downside of the screen. The safety to the Lions left, the Jaguars right. So as Jameson Williams clears Foye Oluokun, which is a difficult cover for any linebacker, I believe that Brock Wright is being told and taught to go block this safety. That's a heck of a long way to go to be told to block somebody. It almost kind of reminds me of like certain toss schemes where you're assigned to block a safety from the backside if you're an offensive lineman, if you're a tight end, whatever. And if that guy makes the tackle, your coach is going to be on your ass because he's the guy that made the tackle. You're assigned to block him. It's brilliant from Goff, don't get me wrong, in terms of when he throws the football. And I'll show you the end zone angle so you can see it. Brock Wright hasn't even cleared here. So what I mean by that is where the ball is being thrown, Brock Wright is in that window. Goff understands, trusts, recognizes the coverage, and is willing to throw the ball basically at Brock Wright's back because he knows that's where Jameson Williams will be in a moment by the time he gets there. That's not an anticipation throw. I don't call it anticipation throws. In fact, I reject that phrase altogether. That's a read and recognizing where Jameson Williams is going to be based upon the route design and based upon the coverage. It's the same play from the end zone angle. Pay attention to Brock Wright's path. Directly in the window of where Goff is throwing the football. You can see Brock Wright's helmet. I mean, he's not running a route. He's not running a route at all. He's running to go block the safety and out-leverage him so that safety can't get to Jameson Williams. I mean, like anyone's going to catch him anyway. There was no work on their left-hand side of the field for the Jags. Really porous defense. There's no reason to kick a team and group of players when they're down. It's tough. It's tough for me because, again, Foye Oluokun is one of my favorite players in the league. I love his tenacity. I love how many times I've seen him, suspected, that he's playing injured, especially on a team that hasn't had success in the playoffs or success in the regular season, for that matter. And Ron Darby is a guy from Maryland who I have some familiarity with. He went to Wise High School in PG County. If you don't know about Wise High School, go look them up. You'll be shocked at how many high-level college players or athletes they've had and how many guys have made it to the NFL from that school. These two guys, Jameson Williams and St. Brown, you want this every week. You're not going to get it. You know that as a Lions fan. But the potential is there, and I think that's the point. St. Brown warrants a lot of attention. Jameson Williams isn't going to get 11 or 12 targets in a game. I don't think he's in that position in the offense, meaning whether it's the Z receiver, H, X, whatever, I don't believe he is the X receiver, but sometimes the formation is flipped, and he actually is the X. He's the backside receiver into the boundary. He doesn't warrant and doesn't need 11 targets in a game. He only needs about 5, maybe 4 to make an impact, particularly against defenses like the Jags. But you saw what really, I think, opened my eyes. I was already a big fan, was the performance against the 49ers last year. That catch in the end zone when you're down by 10 in the fourth quarter. Game is essentially over at that point, I guess. Yeah, the reverse for a touchdown was an impressive play physically, breaking tackles, bursting through tight space. That catch in the fourth quarter was difficult. I think he took a shot to hold on to the football. I believe it was a fourth down as well. It's unfortunate that he had a 2-game suspension this year. Don't really care about all the particulars of it, to be honest with you. Just rooting for the guy to have an impact for a Lions offense that, even though they're operating at an extremely high level of efficiency, I think they need Jameson Williams. I think they need Jameson Williams to reach their ceiling, number one, and number two, to make some of these type of plays against the really good defenses that you're going to see in the playoffs and or the Super Bowl. You guys know what I think of St. Brown. I've gone on record for the last 2 years saying I think he's one of the top 10 football players in the entire league because of his willingness to block, because of his willingness to move inside there on third and fourth downs, take shovel passes, block. In fact, week 1, if you recall, last year against the Chiefs, he lined up at fullback and tried to execute a kick-out block on one of their outside linebackers. He's an incredible player to watch. His efficiency level this year is off the charts. Can he keep that up? I guess you'd have to say yes at this point, based upon how well Goff is playing, how well he's processing things. They, of course, had hiccups against the Texans in the first half, righted the ship in the fourth quarter, and then just blew away the Jags. I don't think the Colts are going to be that easy. They're not going to turn in. That's a tough group, fast on defense, from what I recall seeing last year in 2023. I got a lot of respect for him. And Anthony Richardson's a guy that I think can perform at a high level if they can get him there, make him be efficient, and kind of craft an offense that works for him, that he's got familiarity with. In any case, this is my breakdown of St. Brown and Williams and their performance, putting up 285 yards receiving on 15 catches, mind you, in their Week 11 win over the Jags, keeping pace, or keeping ahead of the Eagles, I should say, for NFC lead at this point. That should be consideration number one for every game hereafter, is to try to get a win and get home seed for the NFC playoffs. Appreciate you guys' time, man. If you think other Lions fans would enjoy this film study breakdown of Amon-Ra St. Brown and Jameson Williams play against the Jags, then please consider grabbing a link to this video, sharing it out on social media to help this content get more reach.